Kat, and I just kind of wanted to take a moment to talk about something that's been on my heart for a while now, since I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's something that I've been thinking about, and I want to bring it up to everyone because I believe that some people are having some trouble with it, but they aren't able to talk about it. And I want to kind of make a video for everyone at every table to reference and be able to use it to bring up this conversation, because I think it's important and it allows for your table to just kind of enjoy itself a bit more while you're playing. And that topic is religion, real life religion versus Dungeons and Dragons. And the reason, again, why I want to bring it up is because I believe that some people have reservations about talking about their beliefs while they're playing, and a lot of times people don't want to talk about religion at all. And I believe that sometimes it can cause for some people to just quietly disappear and stop playing games, and you're not able to really enjoy the hobby as much as you want to while you're in it. And I just wanted to bring it up and allow people to kind of have a video or something to have this conversation with your table. I think that if you talk about it in your session zero just for a few seconds, it can make for every game afterwards to be a lot more fun. And I just wanted to bring it up because I don't feel like anybody has talked about it really, and it's something that I've had to kind of struggle with and deal with myself. So if I can give any help to anyone else who's dealing with similar problems, I would be humbled and grateful. So lastly, I do want to say I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he rose for our sins. And I've been a strong Christian for a long time. And I know that I may be speaking from a Christian perspective while I'm talking, but I believe that it applies to a lot of other religions, specifically the other monotheistic religions like Islam, and Judaism and other religions that take root in the Torah. But I do believe it also could have an influence on people of other religions, maybe not as much, maybe some Eastern religions as well. But I just wanted to say that I'm speaking from a Christian perspective, and I know that's a little bit biased, and I'll be speaking from that bias, but I want to acknowledge it first so that everybody's aware of it before I begin. The three things that I wanted to bring up that cause some trepidations for Christians and should be brought up and talked about before you all are playing your games. The three ones that I've noticed have been demons and devils, clerics and paladins, and magic. And I kind of wanted to just bring these up and talk about them very quickly so that everybody can be on the same page while we're playing. Quickly, my story. When I was younger, my parents told me not to. My mom made me promise not to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I was in a nerdier community, I guess you could say, and I would hear about the other people playing it, and I'll be a little bit bummed out. And as I grew older, I came back to my mother and I asked why, and she told me that it wasn't all the magic, it wasn't any of the rumors of the Christian community and things like that. It was because she had heard a story that I believe is false. I'm pretty sure it's a hoax now that I've researched it, but there was a LARPing community in London that had people who were playing, and they were so into it that when one of their characters died, they would commit ritual suicide or they would kill each other. And it was kind of messed up, and it scared my mom a bit. And she said that it wasn't because of the magic and stuff. She was sure I would be able to deal with that. She said that you, specifically me, I would get carried away playing games like that. And thinking back on it and the time and the how old I was, I probably would have gotten a bit carried away. Probably not all to crazy, ritual suicide, but I probably would have gotten a bit carried away. I was an actor at the time, and I was learning about method acting, and sometimes some of those characters would stick with me when I came home. So she probably saw those things and said, maybe when you're older. And now that I am older, she's totally fine. There's no problems at all with me playing the game and enjoying myself and enjoying my friends. So I don't think that was a ban that was like bad or oppressive. I think it's good parenting. If you see something that could be dangerous for your kid or could get them isolated up in a room somewhere, it may be good to allow them to have some more social experiences first, and then when they get older, let them they can go ahead and jump in the game. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm the DM for my game, and I enjoy coordinating people and getting people together to play. And it's there are a lot of skills that I feel like if I had been exposed to Dungeons and Dragons a lot younger, I maybe wouldn't have um, built or grown in myself. So everybody has a struggle, and I think that um, everybody kind of can. If you've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a while, you know that it's possible for people to get lost, or you've seen people go too far and they're too into their characters for too long and stuff like that. Um, and it's not just a Christian thing. That's just a part of role playing. Sometimes you just really enjoy the character and it bleeds over into um, yourself. So I just want to say that as a Christian, as long as you're able to enjoy the story, and this is a story that you and your friends are building together, it should be a good time. And as long as you're able to keep that separate from your real life and your real beliefs, you'll enjoy yourself and you'll have a good time. That being said, I do want to bring up three quick things that I know cause some trepidation for me as a Christian playing Dungeons and Dragons, and may be causing some trepidation for some of your players as well. So I'm going to bring it up and we'll talk about it. First is demons. Demons are usually the antagonists in Dungeons and Dragons. They don't cause too much trepidation for Christians once they start playing the game, but looking at it from the outside, you see the demons, you see like the monster manuals, they have all kinds of crazy monsters in them. But once you start playing the game, most of the time you're fighting against those things, you're killing demons, you're being the good guys. There are occasionally some people who make pacts with demons or other things like that, but again, if you look at it like it's a story, sometimes people make bad decisions, and a good story is full of people who are making bad decisions and seeing where those decisions take them and how they develop over time. And that's a part of storytelling. You're not Everything's not going to be all good. Sometimes things are bad, and it's important to pay attention to that while you're playing. And as long as you're able to keep that separation and you're not trying to find demons in real life, then it it's totally fine. The one that brings up a lot more trepidation, though, are clerics and paladins, and that's something that I've dealt with myself as a Christian playing Dungeons and Dragons, because a lot of times you just kind of don't want to give praise to other deities or kind of say it. You don't want to be saying those things. Um, and I usually will say, like, if you're reading a story that's about someone else who's good and just happens to follow a different religion than you do, then it's not doesn't mean it's a bad story. It's just different than your lived life. And because these are fantasy deities, they're not real. It's not. It shouldn't have any strong um, effect on your actual Christian walk. However, I will say that while I play my games, if I play a cleric or a paladin, um, I don't say the praises myself. It's something that I feel a bit uncomfortable with. I don't give honor to Palor or other deities like that while I'm playing, just because I don't like hearing it come out of my mouth. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And if stuff like that does make you feel uncomfortable, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Bring it up to your DM, talk about it, and you don't have to do that as a cleric or a paladin. You don't have to say those things. You can still play the character, play them with their in their role, and it works fine. So you don't feel like you're pressured to do things you don't feel uncomfortable with. It's okay to talk about it with your group and find out good alternatives and ways to deal with it. Lastly, magic usually causes some trepidation, because I know in Christianity, magic is always seen as the things that are supernatural that aren't from God. And those are supposed to be eschewed, and you're not supposed to deal with them or mess with them at all. Again, fantasy, not real magic. We're not talking about really going to try to do a seance or finding, some demon cult or something like that. It's not, you're not doing that in real life. It's fantasy. There's a game. However, I will say that a lot of the spells and things that are in Dungeons and Dragons are kind of made after some miracles that are in the Bible. Some, create food and water, speak with dead, raise dead, um, create move water. All these are they're things that many good people in the Bible did, and they're supernatural occurrences. And I've always wanted, as a young Christian, I've always wanted to imagine I can do those things, and that's something that is um, just a part of, I guess, growing up in a household that believes that things like that can happen. But it's good to enjoy it and kind of talk to it and kind of play it out. Sometimes it's fun. Um, but on the other hand, a lot of times D&D magic is treated more like a science. If I'm honest, it's more so treated like a science. There's good and bad, and some people use it for good, some people use it for bad. And that's just like science is used today. Some of it's used for really good things, some of it's used for making nuclear bombs. And there's, some people think, oh, well, nuclear bombs are good, just like some people think necromancy is good. So it's treated more so like a science in Dungeons and Dragons, and not like a supernatural thing. Most of the time, there's some worlds where it is, but most of the time it's treated like a science. Um, if that still makes you feel uncomfortable, I know sometimes it makes me feel uncomfortable. Sometimes there's tons of other games that don't have any magic, don't have any other deities, don't have any demons, that are really fun to play and great ways to get together with friends that aren't D&D. And it's totally fine to play them. You don't have to feel like a worse member of the role-playing community because you never played Dungeons and Dragons. That's not true. There's tons of other games that are lots of fun, and you can have a good time playing them. Even if you want to do a D&D game that's nice, I would recommend Harbinger, because Harbinger is good. It doesn't have a lot of the demons and clerics and all that stuff, and magic in it is very clearly science. It's very clearly science focused, and it's just a force that people have come across when they've been traveling through the cosmos. And so it's not it's try it if that's what you're looking for. You want something that doesn't have any of these three hangups that Christians oftentimes have while playing Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe try Harbinger or other games like it. So that's my take on it. Again, just Dungeons and Dragons is a place for people with different backgrounds, religions, from different countries, different mindsets, where they get together and engage in one fantasy world together, and it brings people together. So I don't want you to ever feel like you have to do something you feel uncomfortable with. Talk to your DM. My gaming group is great. I love everybody I play with. And just kind of talk about things that maybe will make you feel uncomfortable, and we can work around them. And there's different religions, like I'm saying, I'm talking from a Christian perspective, but there's all kinds of different people who have different beliefs, different ideas, different cultures, and if any of them um, cause you to feel uncomfortable while playing the game, talk about it and bring it up during your session zeros, and bring it up before your DM is 5 sessions in and they plan that the large final bad guy is going to be a demon, and then when you get there you're like, I don't like demons, I can't play anymore. Like that, don't do that. Try to bring it up early, bring it up before the game starts, so that it's all worked in. And believe me, it's a lot easier to work it in than you may think. And it's good to bring it up, and it just makes for the game to be that much more fun. And you as a DM will get to keep your players and keep people and keep them all around your table without them just disappearing quietly and not mentioning their own spiritual hangups with whatever's going on. So I love you all. Thank you very much for listening. Again, share it. Use it as a way to talk about religion or bring it up amongst your gaming community. But most of all, enjoy the game and have fun. So thank you. Love you all. Happy gaming.